Hello everyone, welcome back to the allotment. Here today on a quite a rainy afternoon. Really, it's been raining on and off the whole time that I've been here, but that certainly hasn't stopped me doing what I needed to do up here, and certainly not going to stop me doing the allotment dram today. Which I've picked quite a new product today actually, which we've just acquired a bottle of. So yeah, very sort of interesting. This is the Label 5 Bourbon Barrel, and Label 5 is pretty well known. It's a pretty well known blended whiskey actually. Traditional Scotch blend. Very well known in France. It's called a Label 5 en France. But also some other countries around the world too, but not so much in the UK. So it's good to see it sort of starting to appear in the UK actually. And this one, as you'll see from the label, it says bourbon barrel, but also just above that, it's actually single grain. So it's sort of breaking away from the tradition of the blended. Of course, single grain is part of the traditional Scotch whisky blend, but this is breaking away from that. And just releasing it in its sort of raw single grain form. And this is actually produced at the Star Law distillery, which is in Bathgate. It's just between Edinburgh and Glasgow, a bit more towards Edinburgh actually. And it's owned by a company called Glenturner, and that's the Scotch whisky wing of Le Martiniquez, who are the parent company, and they own the Star Law distillery, where they make all their grain whiskey, but they also own Glenmurray up on Speyside, very nice, soft, gentle single malt. So yeah, this is going to be very interesting. You can see we've put a little dent in the bottle already. So let's have a taste, shall we? As you can see, it's a lovely sort of golden yellow colour. There's not really that many single grains around. Obviously the most famous, not that are widely available anyway. Obviously the most famous is Haig Club, which is the one associated with Diageo and David Beckham. So it's good to see something else coming out. You tend to see single grains quite a lot, so within independent bottlings, but really, sort of not out to the wider public. So let's have a little smell and a taste. Yeah, so it's got a lovely sort of freshness, quite sort of creamy. You can almost tell what it's going to be like. It's got creamy, it's got lovely honey, vanilla, a little bit of sort of graininess there. It's sort of coming from the single grain. Nowadays is largely made of wheat. I mean, back in the day it was made of things like corn, maize, sweet corn, but now it's largely made from wheat. So you've got some of that earthy, grainy quality coming through. So let's have a taste. Yeah, that's delicious. It's got this soft, creamy, sort of a lot of vanilla, sort of like a bit of butterscotch. There's a bit of honey, almost tending towards like a sort of sugar syrup, golden syrup, something like that. And then underneath is this sort of grainy, earthy, cereal quality, which just adds a bit of depth and complexity. Yeah, there's also some quite juicy, sort of, it's almost like an apricot or a peach in there as well. Something slightly tropical and slightly overripe, just there in the background. So yeah, absolutely lovely example of a single grain, bottled at 40%. Quite accessible for a lot of drinkers. So great on its own, or over some ice that actually, and already won its first awards. As I say, it's only been out a couple of months or so, but it's already won its first award. It got a master in the Scotch Whisky Masters from the spirits business, one of the biggest whiskey awards in the UK. So you know, that's a great compliment to it. And you know, out of all the entries that go into that from all the whiskey companies, you know, only 7 or 8 these this year actually got a master. So this was one of them. So you know, an absolutely great whiskey, and you know, search it out if you can, and urge you. You know, especially if you haven't tried single grain before, it's not very expensive and you know, very accessible. So here we are. Cheers from me and Label 5 Bourbon Barrel. Until next time, take it easy, take care of yourselves. See you soon. Cheers. Mm.